So I'm going to show you which types of glue I'm using for doing collages in my art journal. And before I even start, I just want to tell you that there are many factors that the success of your collage depends on. For example, the paper that you're using. Now I'm using like a sketchbook paper. It's not very thin, but not even thick, but it's really smooth, but not the smoothest one. It's a sketchbook paper, a thicker one, and I've had a really good success with gluing things on this kind of paper. But for example, watercolor paper or textured paper, they are hard to glue on sometimes because of all that texture. And I love these flat and even surfaces for collages, but not very thin paper, because if you use glue that is water-based, it tends to ripple your paper, so it just doesn't feel straight anymore. Okay, so the glues I'm going to test today are my favorites, and I use them most of the time. And the first one is this Uhu stick, which is, I must say, amazing. It's really easy to use. You just have a cap on. It works like a lipstick. And amazingly, it really sticks things down, especially thin papers like magazine images, thin scrapbook paper, notebook paper, and so on. So it's a really good thing, and I'm going to show you. Then I have these two collage mediums. They are the same, they just differ in color. So this is matte and this is vintage. This one has a vintagey finish, like it has this brownish color. And this is just transparent matte collage medium. And I love using this one as well, and I've used it in my collages. And the last one is Mod Podge. Maybe you've heard of it. It's really popular. This one dries matte, and it's a water-based glue. It can be a sealer and a finish too. So, for example, when I do collages and I put my images down, I can go over those images with this, and I will seal the images and even protect them even more. I can also do that with this Distress Collage medium. It says here, it's a gel medium ideal for gluing, layering, and sealing mixed media projects. So this one is a sealer as well as Mod Podge. This one is not a sealer, okay? This is just glue, and I bet you know that already. Okay, so I have prepared different kind of papers to test out these glues. So for each of the types of glue, I have prepared glossy magazine paper, thin scrapbook paper, print paper, and a bit of heavier paper. It's not really cardstock, but a very, very thin cardstock, but it's not as thin as these papers here. So I'm going to test each of these glues on these types of paper. So I prepared the set for each type of glue, and the tools I'm using. This is something I'm really in love with. These are both the same. This is just an older one and a new one. It's a brush for collage by Marabout, and it's really amazing. It's got this very firm but also soft bristles. So when you put your glue down, it's like using something really firm, like for example, a credit card, but it also has the softness of bristles, so you can move that glue around. And even, for example, if you want some glue under the edges, you can do that easily by doing this and then sealing it like so. You'll see later when I do that. So this is a very neat collage brush I've been using for a long time, and I really love it. The next tool is this one. I don't know what this is really. I mean, I don't know what's it called, but you can use it. It's like, you know, very, very flexible, and you can use it with these liquid glues to put some down like this. Okay, I prefer these brushes because these brushes have really nice softness on the top, and I don't know, it just works better for me than this one. Maybe there are more quality ones than this, but it's just what I have. And sometimes I can use this bone folder, for example, when I glue my paper, then I can iron things out with it. It's a really neat thing. If you don't have this one, an old credit card will do a perfect job to iron out the glues and bubbles. Okay, so these two will practically do the same thing. And if you have larger images that you want to glue down and you want to iron them out, then I suggest you can use a brayer. For example, if I had a very large image here and I carefully start gluing it over here, I can do this on top to iron out all the bubbles or not places it's not evenly glued down. Okay, so let's start, guys. First, I'm going to start with this stick. I love it and I want to share what I do with it. So let's write here for our reference. Okay. And as I already said, I've got these types of paper and I'm going to glue down each and maybe use some of these tools. So let's start. First of all, and the thing I'm most interested in is using magazine images, magazine paper. It's really glossy and it's really thin, and we all use them, right? So let's see what this can do. So all I do is carefully add this this glue all over the place as much as I can to be careful about the edges, because we want to glue the edges as well. But I don't really put like too many layers of it. And then what I do is start from one side and slowly, using my finger, try to glue it down. And I can also use this one. See how easy it is to glue things like this. So then I missed a part here and it's easy. I just do this and then I take the credit card and iron everything once more in different directions. And I believe this is really, really nicely glued down. I'm going to show you. There are no bubbles. I hope you can see that. No bubbles at all. It's really, really amazing. Amazing thing. Okay, let's continue to scrapbook paper. So it's quite thin, but it's thicker than this magazine, definitely thicker. So I put the glue all over the image, all over the paper, especially in the corners, and then I do the same thing. Glue it down and iron it out. Okay, so no edges sticking, no bubbles, of course, because this is thicker paper than magazine paper, and it glued down perfectly. I mean, really, really perfectly. Let's go to the copy paper. So I just printed this image on a regular copy paper, and let's see how this works. Okay, it's not a big image, so I don't have to glue it down in layers like I did this one. Of course, the smaller the image, it's the easier to glue it down, because you don't have to be careful about not placing it right. Okay, so this is just copy paper with glue stick. Perfect. It's just perfect. And if you are gluing bigger pieces of paper, of course you need to glue it in stages like I did. This one started from the bottom and then slowly gluing the rest of it. Because if you take a big image, a big piece of paper, and just put it down, it will glue down in various places and create bubbles, and it won't be ironed out. Okay. And the last type of paper is very, very thin cardstock. And I'm going to use this glue again. And let's do that here. I'm still going to use this just to press it a little bit better, or even the brayer, because it's thicker paper. Or if you don't have any of these tools, just use your fist like this. And later when we come back at the end of this video, I'm going to see if this cardstock pulled off from the paper. And then, yes, I have a little glue residue here, but that's not important. Okay, so let's see. Everything seems to be glued down really nicely. I'm still waiting for this one to dry, but I don't see any anything popping up. This is glued down perfectly, the magazine image as well, and I don't feel any bubbles, any wrinkles, nothing. Okay, so this one is a really good glue. Although it doesn't say anywhere that it's acid free, but I really don't mind that, because when I work in my art journal, I'm not going to sell these pieces, or I don't plan on them to, I don't know, withstand the time and be inherited by my generations. No, it's just me doing this for fun. So I don't really mind and don't care about preserving this for 100 years or so. Okay, so this is Uhu stick. We are satisfied. It's really, really a great glue. And now let's do another one. So the next one is Distress Collage Medium. I'm going to start with this matte one because it's really something maybe we could use in a more general sense, and this is very specific, like vintage. So I'm going to start with this one, and let me show you inside. It's like, I don't know, like a face cream, but really sticky. Okay, and I also have a glossy magazine image. I have a printer paper image, scrapbook paper, and that light cardstock. Okay, and this is Distress Collage Medium. Okay, So let's start. I'm going to start with magazine image again, and I'm going to use this brush. And if you want to try out some of these types of glues like this one and Mod Podge, decide on a sturdier brush, or even a foam brush, and reserve that only for glue. Okay, for anything else, because glue is tough on your brushes. You don't want to ruin your acrylic brushes that way. Okay, so what I do with the Distress Collage medium is that I glue the surface. Just a second. So I'm feeling, since I used glue on this page before, I'm feeling a little bit of the paper that it's kind of embossed, and it took all that water from the glue. So I'm not sure I'm going to continue on this page. I might use this one, so we can do the experiment in a really good and objective way. Okay, so Distress Collage medium. Especially after this medium, the back of this paper will also be kind of wavy, and we don't want that. So what I do is I put down some of this collage medium, and then I work with the image, and then I also use this tool. Okay, so for example, I do this, and I try to make a really thin layer, but I don't want to miss any spots because I want my image to be glued down. Then I measure, okay, I need more over here, maybe more over here, but I'm trying to even this all out, and this brush is amazing at that. So I don't have any big residues of glue. And then I'm going to put this on one side, as I already mentioned earlier, and then I'm going to use this credit card again to smooth things out, like so. This is also a good example for using even bigger images, because it's really the same. You take a bigger image and start from one corner and then iron it out until all of the edges. So my edges are really nicely glued down, and for now I don't have any wrinkles. A little bit here, a little small bubble, which I really don't mind. And there, I evened it out. Sorry, I evened that out with this little tool. Okay, let me show you up close that I don't see anything that could bother me in my collage. Okay, I hope you see that too. I hope the image is not blurry. If it is, I'm sorry. Okay, and now let's, this is still drying, mind you. And now I'm going to use this piece of scrapbook paper in the same way. I can glue some down on the paper itself, but I love doing it on the surface because I can then evenly smooth out the glue much better. And then I just put it down, use my credit card, of course an old one. And if I have some edges like so, I still have glue on this brush, and I'm going to do this. And since this is a sealer, I can go over the edges like so. to stick them down even more. I have some glue here around. I don't know if you can see, but that's okay. Once this one is dry and it's a sealant also, it's not a problem. Okay, no wrinkles, nothing. Okay, good. Now let's go to this copy paper image. And I do the same. I take the image like this. If it's not square or circle, I just measure approximately and then apply a very, very thin layer of glue. And then I glue this part down, take more glue, and do the other part. I hope you can see. Again, a very, very thin layer. And down. Now I can use the card again. And since this is a sealer, I can go over the edges like so to glue everything down even better. Okay, for now I don't see any wrinkles or anything, but we'll see when this dries. And the last type of paper is this cardstock. The same principle goes. Put some paint, put some glue down. And glue this down. If there's not enough in edges, I just add it like this. And below here, corners are always problematic, especially with thicker paper. They tend to pop. They are that stubborn. Okay, I've got this glued down, and this one isn't dry yet, but still no wrinkles, nothing. No wrinkles here, no wrinkles here. Okay, so this distress collage medium is really neat, especially for smaller pieces of paper. As I already said, you can glue down bigger pieces of paper, but you need to be more careful. But the secret is to apply a very thin but even layer. So if there are places beneath your image that were left dry without no glue, you may see a little bubble there, okay? Or if you put too much glue and the paper just took all that moist and created a bubble or a little, how do you say, a little wrinkles, yes. So you need to learn and experiment how much glue you can put down at once, and then you need to glue your image really carefully, especially if it's a big one, and then have a tool of some kind to iron out the paper. Okay, and this paper, again, since this has even more moist and water than this one, this paper a little bit is wavy, is a little bit wavy now, but that's okay. I'm just going to flip it. It's not really dry, so I'm not going to put it below. It's going to glue itself to another paper. Just going to do this, and we will continue with Mod Podge for this page. So, Mod Podge. Okay, let's go. I'm just going to clean this brush I used for a little bit, and so I don't mix Mod Podge with Distress Collage medium. I mean, I believe that's all the same thing, really. Okay, so let me open this and show you. It's much more liquidy, much more liquid than this one. Okay, so shall we start with glossy magazine image first on this side? Let me check. Yes, this is all dry. Okay, so I'm still going to use this brush, but you can use, I think, any other flat brush or foam brush even. I don't like foam brushes. I don't have too much control over them. So what I do again is put the glue on the paper, and I'm careful, because this is really watery, I'm careful to have a very thin and even layer, as I already mentioned, very thin and even. And then the same process. I do this and slowly glue my image down from one side to another. Take a credit card, iron this out as best as I can. When I didn't use an ironing tool like this or the brayer, I used to have much more bubbles and wrinkles, really. And this thing really saved my nerves and my pages and my collage. So I advise that you get something like this or the brayer, especially a smaller brayer, so you can iron things out. Okay, I've got some glue over here. I'm not going to touch that. Let's put this away, leave this to dry. Okay, so copy paper. Oh no, first let's do scrapbook paper. Is the same weight as the yellow one we did before. So I'm again putting this on the paper first, and I'm taking too much. I want to even it out and make it a really thin layer from one side to another. And since this is a sealant, I can go over just under the edges a little bit and then over the edges. And I'm not going to add any more because I don't want too much of moist going on here. Okay, let's continue with copy paper. Oh, for this, it's a very thin paper and it's delicate. I really want to be careful not to put too much glue. Very, very little, but even. Okay, evenly spread. And then I glue the rest of the image. I check if everything's all right, no wrinkles. Then I can cure the edges if they're not glued down. But still, I'm being careful not to put too much of this. Once I glued a magazine image, it was a really big one, and everything was fine when I glued it down. And then I said, oh, I don't know, I want to seal it right away. And I put so much glue on top. I mean, so much of this Mod Podge. And after 5 minutes or so, I got so many wrinkles that I just hated it. And then I learned that I need to start with less glue and then build from there. So less is more in these scenarios. Okay, and the last one is this piece of cardstock, and let's do that. Oh, it's a really big one. I should make it smaller, but it's okay. Here I can be more generous with glue on firmer, thicker paper, because it won't crumple so much, and it needs more glue to firmly stay down, because it's heavier paper. It's just logical. So I'm just doing this with my fingers. I can use a bone folder. I can use a brayer. Maybe even a credit card, but if the paper is thicker than a credit card, you won't get that much. It doesn't make much sense. Okay, so we've done these pages with 3 types of glue, which I really like. All 3 of them are fantastic. You just need to experiment with them and get to know them, so you can really get optimal and desired results without wrinkles and bubbles and these kinds of things. And mind you, again, this paper I'm gluing things on, it's not very thick, but it's not also like copy paper, and it still buckles a little bit, but that's fine, because since I don't have wrinkles or bubbles, I can, when this is all dry, I can close my journal and put a heavy book on it or something, and it will iron out these pages. But I'm just not overthinking this, really. And let's see this one. This was the Stress Collage medium. So these guys, still no wrinkles, nothing, but this journal paper is a little bent, but that's okay. This glue is not really dry. And where was the first one that we did? Did I lose it? Oh, here it is. And this was the glue stick. No wrinkles whatsoever. Especially on magazine image. We love using magazine images, right? And printed images, and maybe even scrapbook paper. So with all of these types of glue, they are amazing, all 3 of them. You just need to be careful with the kind of paper you're using, the surface you're using, the process of gluing down your images. So you need to be careful to glue everything down evenly. To iron, you need to iron out anything at the very beginning when it's not yet dry. And for me, all of these things work. So when I make a collage, it's just a matter of my, I don't know, mood. If I want to use just a glue stick without any mess or brush, so I use this, and it works perfectly fine, as you see it. If I want to, if I have all of these delicate edges, for example, then I'm going to use something like these 2, because I can seal all of those edges with my brush afterwards and seal my image on top, and then even continue painting on that image, and it won't be affected. So both of these are great. Still no wrinkles. I don't feel any under my fingers. Well, with this kind of paper, the heavier one, you won't get wrinkles. You just need to be sure to glue down each of the corners and borders, but it won't wrinkle. It's too thick for that. But these thinner papers, they really show no wrinkles. nothing. And the key is in these thingies, guy, so iron them out. Okay, that's it for this video. So I hope you like this. I hope you have a more clear image of what glues to use in your collages, with what papers, and so on. If you have any questions, I would like to hear them. You can put them in the comments below. And yeah, see you next time, and art on.